You knew the call was coming before they did. They were surprised to hear that you were already on your ship with your crew in place, waiting for the order to go. But when one of Eberus Station's 2 ships is hijacked, that only leaves one ship to track it down. Yours. Welcome to Celestial Horizons, Operation Bloodhound, Part 1. Throughout Operation Bloodhound, you'll be taking the role of Colonel Longstreet, the commanding officer of the ESS Phobonautis. Here are a few things that you need to know. To begin, your ship is the only super battle cruiser in the solar system of Hypatia. It was built 150 years ago around the pieces of a massive railgun called Newton's First. Originally, that railgun was supposed to be mounted on Eberus Station, your home base. But, due to various complications, they opted to build a ship for it instead. Because of this, the ESS Phobonautis is over 1 kilometer long, has 1,300 crew members, and 285 decks. Its size makes the Phobonautis the least maneuverable ship in the solar system. Because of how big the railgun is, the only way for you to aim it is to literally reposition the entire vessel. Your ship was designed to be on the offensive, and when you use Newton's Second, your railgun, you can obliterate most vessels in a single hit. You do have a few defensive options. 40-point defense arrays, which try to shoot down incoming weapons, and 60 fighters, which try to keep you safe from other strike craft. But your primary mode of defense is the small fleet of escorts you should have with you. Ideally, you'd have a pair of destroyers, a cruiser or 2, and a couple of smaller vessels to serve as scouts in your battle group. However, the ship that was hijacked, the ESS Antigone, was the only other ship that has been assigned to protect the Phobonautis in the last 100 years. With that MIA, you do not have any escorts at the moment, so you'll need to be extra careful until your bosses can get you some more help. Speaking of your bosses, they tell you that they're currently negotiating for some allied vessels to come and serve as those escorts. You work for the Council of Eberus, based on Eberus Station. They are responsible for running and governing the largest space station in the solar system. It's the biggest population center in the entire solar system as well. You've lived on Eberus Station your entire life. The last thing you need to know before we begin is this. The hijacking of the Antigone, the ship you're currently pursuing, was an inside job. Nobody is quite sure who is responsible yet. The hijackers haven't identified themselves and no other groups have claimed responsibility. But the only way for the Antigone to have been stolen so perfectly is for somebody on the inside to have been paving the way. But it sounds like you have somebody on the inside as well. A person with the pseudonym of Rook tapped into the Antigone's communications and is working to gather information on the inside. You hope that he doesn't get himself or anybody else killed, but also that he can maybe do something to tip the scales in your favor. Here are your official orders from the Council of Eberus. 1. Launch immediately and travel in the last known direction of the ESS Antigone. 2. Locate the ESS Antigone. 3. Identify the current course and destination of the ESS Antigone. 4. Do not fire weapons until you receive further authorization. And 5. You are in charge of Operation Bloodhound, regardless of what other ships may join you along the way.
Launch procedure.
It has been 51 hours since you launched, and 64 hours since the Antigone was stolen. You've spent the time accelerating, trying to close the gap between your ships, and scanning for any sign of the Antigone. Every telescope at your disposal is going 24/7, and you're in constant communication with a number of observatories and other vessels across the system, as they too search for the stolen vessel. But it's going to be hard to catch, unless it changes its acceleration or broadcasts some sort of signal. You're just relying on luck to help you find it. However, just a little while ago, you picked up some sort of strange radio signal from somewhere in front of you. It lasted only a second, but was smack dab in the middle of the frequencies normally used for communications. It's odd because every ship nearby picked it up, but it didn't last long enough to really be able to parse. There it is again. You have your teams track the position of it. This one came from tens of thousands of kilometers away from the first one, but was the exact same signal. Your teams pull satellite data on the signals and triangulate points of origin. Then, by factoring in how long it was between signals and where they came from, you've got yourself an acceleration and a direction. The target is moving just a little slower than you are. You give the order to adjust your course and match it and start searching along that trajectory for the Antigone. There it is again. It's not long before you have them. Sure enough, those signals came from the Antigone. You watch in real time as it sends out a third. Maybe those came from your man inside. But you've got a heading now. Your course will take you straight to the Isarian Gap, one of the most densely populated regions in the asteroid belt. Not that it's crawling with people, there are just more around there than almost anywhere in the asteroid belt. You pass all this information back to the Council. At this speed, it will take around 2.5 weeks before you get to the belt, so you've got time. A few minutes later, while you consider what those engagements may look like, you get a message from an unexpected source. The Gate Network Administration. They control the most distant station in the solar system. You'll pass its orbital path about a week from now on this course.
Colonel Longstreet, we have been following the news regarding the hijacking of the ESS Antigone and wish to offer you some intelligence. First, we are aware of the current position of your vessel and noticed that you just realigned on a new course. During our regular monitoring of traffic coming to and from the asteroid belt, we detected 2 ships leave the asteroid belt just over 60 hours ago. Because we were not aware of any issues at the time, we did not continue to track these vessels. However, we can confirm that their last known course will take them directly into the path of your current trajectory. We do not know what type of ships they were, but given the circumstances, we think it is likely they are warships of some sort. In light of this, and as a favor from the GNA to Everest Station, we wish to offer our assistance. We can put 2 ships at your disposal. They are the GNS John Paul, a cruiser, and the GNS Imperator, a heavy cruiser. If you choose to accept our help, we can send them to locate and intercept the 2 ships we detected before. Alternatively, we can send them to rendezvous with you. We will continue to support your mission in any way possible. Good luck, Colonel, and Godspeed.
You have a choice to make. Do you accept the GNA's offer of assistance? If you do you have them send the John Paul and the Imperator to your position? Or to intercept these 2 troubling newcomers? Remember, you're traveling without an escort, which is incredibly dangerous. But if you send them to hunt the 2 ships coming your way, there's a good chance they'll be able to intercept them before they meet up with the Antigone. If you have the GNA ships come to you, then the Antigone will receive reinforcements as well. While you think about that decision...
Colonel, we have a situation.
That's your chief of security.
Engineering reports they saw someone trying to tamper with the sensor systems not too long ago.
Shortly after you picked up the first signal.
2 team members found her by our primary array on a terminal. A woman, early 30s, dark hair, hat, engineering uniform. She claimed to be doing routine maintenance and she had the codes to access the terminal. But they didn't recognize her. They told her they were going to check with their supervisor and she said she was done anyway and left. When their supervisor confirmed that nobody was supposed to be down there, they notified us. We tracked her on the cameras to the mess hall. where she ditched the hat and tried to blend into the crowd. Our officers grabbed her as she tried to leave. Our engineers have already performed a complete systems check and discovered that she tried to put some sort of intermediary system in between the telescopes and our sensors processing systems. This would have allowed someone remotely to edit what sensors data we collected. They have since undone this change. We have acquired the program for evidence. She had a firearm, a fake ID, a communicator, and a strong working knowledge of the layout and procedures of our vessel.
You tell your chief of security that you haven't picked up on any unauthorized uses of your communications antenna. So her communicator must be for other people in the ship.
That's what I'm worried about, Colonel. She is refusing to cooperate and isn't answering any questions. We'll let you know if we get anything out of her, but it's likely there are more of them on our ship.
What would you like to do about that? Double security patrols? That puts some extra strain on your security teams, but it does get more eyes around the ship. Do you put everything in lockdown and search all 285 decks of your ship inch by inch? That will make ship operations very difficult and slow for however long that takes. Do you make a ship-wide broadcast, asking any saboteurs to kindly refrain from sabotage? That'd be very nice of you. Or something else entirely. This question is open-ended. In the video description, there's a link that will allow you to submit your decisions. The first question will be multiple choice. Do you, 1, turn down the GNA's offer of assistance? 2, accept their offer and direct their ships to rendezvous with you? 3, accept their offer and direct their ships to try to intercept the 2 vessels going towards the Antigone? Or 4, do something else entirely? Whichever answer is most selected will become the official response of Colonel Longstreet. The second question is open-ended. What do you want to do with your ship, with your crew, now that you've discovered a saboteur aboard? We'll go through and look at the common threads between the answers we receive and craft the official response of Colonel Longstreet using your ideas. Be sure to check out the link below and submit your responses. This form closes on Monday, November 8th at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Operation Bloodhound Part 2 releases on Wednesday, November 17th. Be sure to also check out Midnight Sentry, the podcast that reflects both your actions here and the actions of the Council of Eberus, our Patreon group. It releases weekly for general audiences on Thursdays. To be a part of the discussion and to check out our previous content, be sure to join our Discord channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find our content, old and new, on our website, celestialhorizons.io. To be among the first to hear about new modules, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the bell. A huge thank you to our corporate overlord, Voidspawn, as well as John Parker and Anonymous, our armchair generals who approved these dangerous operations. As you consider your options, good luck and Godspeed.